Hello, this is Katie. Welcome back to my channel, or welcome if it's your first time. Today is the final day of a video every day in October. It is Halloween. Happy Halloween. I pointed down below because I am linking the card that I am casing in its entirety. Emily's Stamping Grounds over on Instagram. So I'm going to link the exact post of the card I'm casing because it was so beautiful and I had everything in order to do it. So I'm doing it and I fell in love with it. So we're going to be using all of the houses from Spooky Village and one of the houses from Happy Village, and then adding some little bits from Spooky Village. And then Oliver's Stitched ABCs dies to spell out Halloween, which I use all the time. Love that die set. So I have an orange card base. I don't have measurements because I did not measure. I just went from the Lawn Fawn Slimline die that I showed you, and then about 1/8 of an inch bigger on all sides for the black, and then the same for the orange from the black, if that makes sense. So bigger black and then even bigger orange, and then I cut down from there and had to do kind of some math to fold the card base. So we're going to set our Halloween letters aside. We will get to those in a bit. And we're going to prepare all of the stamps that are going to be stamped down onto the card base. So no die cutting or onto the panel. I have some from before that I colored in, but I'm going to just make this a one layer stamping wise panel. And so we're going to arrange the houses. They're in a different order than she did them in. I didn't want to completely copy it. So I did not memorize the order that hers were in, and then I just kind of lined them up as best I could. Eventually I stick a letter down there because I want to make sure I have enough space for the word. And then I just kind of eyeball the houses from there. And I did pause because it took me a while to kind of sort out the layout, but that's what I settled on. So then I am going to, and it's easier for me to do this with the window on the right. So I'm going to turn it and then ink that up. And for some reason, our extra little ghost above the non-Spooky Village house, the one from the other stamp set, he must not be as tall, or he was too close to my magnet. He didn't want to stamp very well the first time. I just pressed extra hard in where he was to make sure that he got down, and then it worked out fine. But for some reason, he might be a little bit shorter. But that's okay. It worked out. So we just did 2. Usually when I do 3, I get a lot of smearing in my coloring. So I did 2. So I've lined up the Halloween word about like the spacing between the letters that I want. And then I took a long strip of washi tape. This washi tape I just use for things like this or taping down watercolor paper. And I stuck it once to my table and then picked it up to get rid of some stickiness so that I wouldn't tear my paper here. And then I just put it down in a straight line so that I have something to line these letters up against when I'm sticking them down. Because I can visualize their spacing in between each letter, but lining it up, I want to make sure that that's straight. And using washi tape in a straight line like this is easier for me than like a T-square ruler, which I also have, but then I would have to kind of hold that down every time as I put each letter down. So I really like this washi tape trick instead. And I'm just using my art glitter glue to stick each one down. When you are using these letters specifically, the Oliver Stitched or any stitched letter really, because there is stitching in the middle, that does kind of create an extra hole in the paper that glue can come through. So you want to make sure that you're using glue that is going to dry clear so that when it dries, you don't see that white in between your letters. And that helps a lot. So I'm going to peel this up very carefully. I think I even still tore a little bit of the paper, because I saw it on my washi tape, but it's okay because you can't really tell. So I'm going to use, surprise, my tri-blends. Not a surprise if any of you have been watching at all. And a few Copics here and there, like the C0 for the ghosts, or the yellow that I grab. I think it's Y04 for the moon and the windows. So it looks like there's lights in the windows. So we have very interesting colored houses. Not that purple houses don't exist. They do. So this is realistic. But also dark colors, because we want to make it look like it's nighttime out, but I don't want to have to do anything to like the background or the sky or anything. I just wanted to keep it very simple, much like the card I am casing. Again, I will link that down below. If you have Instagram, click on that and go show her some love. Thank her for inspiring me. I will also tag her. I'll probably post this one on Instagram. I haven't been posting really any Halloween cards I've been doing on YouTube onto my Instagram, like as a feed photo. But I might post this one and then I'll tag her in that so that she can see that she inspired me. And this one, the Alpine Green, is one of my go-to greens. But I also reach for a green that I'm not sure I've ever used since I colored in my little swatch chart that I look at. So you'll get to see a green that I do not reach for. And when I use it, I can tell it feels like a very new marker. The tips are not frayed at all and is very juicy. So maybe I'll use that one more often. So my Y04 I'm going to use in all of the windows. So I'll just fill all of those in now. And then I also did that for the moon. I could have done like a 2-color gradient on the moon. I could have grabbed a darker yellow and then used the Y04, but that's okay. So then I grabbed B000. I think I have B0000. I'm always surprised at how many Copics there are, and that a B with 4 zeros exists. Or I think there's a C00. I need some lighter grays. I thought going from C1 to getting a C0 would be enough, but I think I still want something lighter. But for now, it's good enough, and the ghosts should look somewhat different than the white paper, so that's fine. I'll be using the tan shades for a good number of the roofs and the doors. Roofs? We've had this conversation before. I think you can say roofs. Roofs doesn't sound right. Roofs? I think it's roofs, even though that doesn't sound right. Anyway, for a number of those, I also use ice gray shades to have like a dark gray roof. Again, going with dark colors to make it look like nighttime. And in the tri-blends, those are going to be the shades versus the blends. So as an example, I will eventually color all the chimneys in. I will forget 2 of them and then go back and color them in. But at first, without thinking, because I still get them confused in my head, the blend versus the shades. For the chimneys, I reached for the dark red blend, because in my head that was the dark red, but it's actually dark red shades, which is more like closer to a maroon, like a chimney color that I was going for. So I actually colored over the chimneys I had already colored in. True Blue Shades is a great dark blue. The True Blue Blend is a great lighter version of this combo as well. It's a very nice blue. I usually reach for the True Blue Blend for like jeans. If I have little characters or people with pants and I want to make them jeans, it's a good jeans color. But this dark one is good for a house. at night. This house could be light blue in the day, but it looks dark blue at night. So that's the idea that we're after. I hope everyone has something excited planned for tonight. That is Halloween. If you celebrate Halloween, if you have kids, if you are able to go trick-or-treating, I have mentioned many times that I love trick-or-treating. I've always loved trick-or-treating. I wish I could still go trick-or-treating as an adult, but it would not be acceptable. I don't anymore, but I used to dream about trick-or-treating every night as a child and into my 20s. But the last number of years, at least 5 years, I've gone to my parents' house to help them hand out candy because they do get a lot of kids in their neighborhood. And one year we actually used this clicker. It's like an umpire clicker that my dad has and counted. And there was like 200 and something, I think. High 200s. It was kind of a lot. And last year, I went without my husband just because it was COVID and there was really no kids. I don't think anybody came, but we watched a movie and had dinner, and we had candy ready just in case, but I'm pretty sure no one showed up. But I don't think you can do that to your kids 2 years in a row. So I think there will be a lot of kids this year, and we'll be wearing our masks at the door. And there are a lot of like costumes that are just inherently going to have a mask because that's always been the case. So I think a lot of kids are going to be able to be fine trick-or-treating. And if anything, their parents may just have them, leave their candy in the bag for 3 days before they can go through it just to be safe. So I think it will be fine. Maybe if I do another video soon, I'll report back. But that is my plan. I'm going to pick up dinner for me and my mom. My husband always gets the pumpkin pizza from Papa Murphy's for Halloween. And I'm going to get Panda Express for me and my mom because they have the vegan orange chicken now. And I am super excited about it. And I've definitely already eaten it like 3 times in the last week since it came out. And my mom loves Panda Express so much. And so I like giving that to her. And yeah, it should be fun. On the steps here, I kind of want to explain what I'm doing, I guess. But with any markers that you're going to use, I want the shadow to be in the right spot. So on the steps right in front of the door in the second house in, I start the darker color in the middle of the steps because the darker color to the left and right of the steps, if I put it on the edge of the steps, it would kind of bleed into one another. So to help the steps stand out more, I put the darker in the middle of the steps that are right under the door and go lighter to the edge of the steps and then like opposite on the rest of the boards that are under the house. Hopefully that makes sense. This green that I just showed you is the tri-blend. I don't really ever reach for. It's not a beautiful green by any means. It is good for a dark house that's supposed to be at nighttime. And I just did the door in the dark and the mid color as well. And it actually turned out really cool looking. So I guess it just depends on the image or the type of thing that I'm coloring. It could be good for leaves or trees, like dark trees maybe. So I'll try and reach for it more often, but I definitely have favorites in my tri-blends. I think I already did the chimneys while I was talking, but I did forget the 2 on 2 of these houses that I'm coloring in right now. So I will go back on those. And then I actually used the blue turquoise shades. And I don't reach for this one often either. I don't often reach for the dark colors. I'm not sure why. It could just be the things that I'm coloring in. But I really like that one as well. So I'm going to reach for that one more often. I'm hoping I have things to color that need that. I think that would be good on some Christmas images. And I definitely went out of the lines there, but my handy dandy Copic 0 saves the day. It is very good at erasing those. Here's me fixing the chimneys with dark red shades, not blends, blend. Dark red shades. I think the blend ones say blend and the shades says shades. I don't know why. That one's plural. Anyway, I decided to make this house the same color and then also the door. And I really, really like this red as well. So this will probably show up a lot of my Christmas coloring, I hope, because that's a really good Christmas red as well. So then I'm just going to run my tape gun along the back and stick this down to the card base, which is a lot harder to do on a slimline card when it's so much longer and you don't want to stick it down wrong. So there is that. And then just to sparkle it up a little bit, I am going to use Wink of Stella and color on the die cut letters to make them sparkly. I probably won't be able to get that to show up on the picture I take for Instagram. It's very hard to get Wink of Stella to show up, or really any sparkles on a card, unless you take pictures at an angle. So maybe I could take a few pictures and do some close-up ones as well so that you can see that. But I'm going to leave these as is. I won't be doing any white accents or anything, so that will finish off the card. I hope you enjoyed watching videos this whole month. Thank you to those of you who have watched them all and commented and kept me going. I had lots of fun, and don't forget to check out Emily's post down below. That inspired me. And thank you again. Bye.